full disclosure, news and commentary number 39, 39, 39, 39, 39. And the last full disclosure for 2019. You know, this tree's going to get taken down soon. Might as well enjoy it while we got it. Oh, yeah. What's the commentary about? I need to get the end in here in the beginning. The commentary is about momentum. Who's got it going into 2020? How is the trajectory of the major leagues in Georgia gone for 2019? And you may be surprised at who's got the best momentum going into the new year. All right, let's talk about this Patreon thing. Listen how long it takes to talk about the Patreon people compared to when I first started. Thanks to, actually I have to get it over. Oh, look at, bam. I increased the difficulty of my workouts today. It's the first time in a long time I haven't been able to finish the workout that I wanted to in the morning. I was just too exhausted and not strong enough, but hopefully I'll get there. Uh-oh. What was that crunch? The kids, you know. Brett, Brian, Dan, Derek, Diana, Eric, Hold My Beer, Jeffrey, Josh, Larry, not that one, another one, Logan, Malone, Georgia Indie Report, Robert, Southern Honor, Double Dropkick, and the OG Myron. Wow, 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 wow. We've got an unboxing. I'm excited. Of course, I'm wearing very aggressive shirt. I'm wearing it today. Very excited. I'm still up, what, 20,000 when I stick it in? When I stick it in? Yeah, rounders, bitch. Oh, there's actually a note with this. Oh, how cute is this? To Steve. That's a wink for you, my dear. Female friend of mine said she'd rather not have me say who it is, but somebody who's been involved with PCW in the past and said they saw this shirt and thought of me and had it sent to me. Hope they got the size right. It is size, what is it? Large. Yep, that works. Dude. Favorite superhero? The Thing of the Fantastic Four. Favorite villain? By far, it's Doctor Doom. Look at this shirt. Come here, my dear. You may observe. It's awesome, right?
Oh my gosh, and it's the perfect time for Charlie Brown specials too. Oh.
Yeah, Charlie Brown special in the house. The doctor is in.
Oh, that's the best.
And it's Doctor Doom. You know about my freaking love of Doctor Doom, for sure, for sure,
It's
for
Doctor
sure.
Doom and Thing. Those are.
That's what I was just saying. I was saying the Thing is my favorite hero. Doctor Doom is my favorite villain.
Yeah. Aw.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Yeah. And the person who sent it to me, I love them too, but I'm not supposed to say who it is. But Elena would know who they are. Anyway, feel it. Man, all these have been good to me. Good to me. All right. Let's jump into some news. First, awards about the news. About the award. Award about the news. Jump in Jesus on a pogo stick, Steve. Get it together. Getting it together now. The awards. You've got one day. Tomorrow at 11:55, voting is done. The votes are in officially. We have had over 100 people vote. A few are still pending. I would get those votes in. I'm sure it is incredibly close. A number of different awards, just a crap ton. And perhaps just as notably, a number of leagues actually made a pretty strong case for themselves this last weekend. Now, it may be too late for them to win, But I think it all goes into the momentum thing. Let's talk about the shows, some of which happened. Man, there's a lot of different news items this time. Um, Anarchy. Let's start there. Anarchy drew over 200. Let's call it 225, right? You got a report from Rob Rod and Larry. Larry, who said that this was the best show that Anarchy had done this year, and it would be up for show of the year contention. Awesome. Awesome shit, right? Good for Anarchy. Who made prominent bids for the awards? Griff, their new champion. Certainly that's a strong nod towards most improved, is it not? Matt Hankins, all the discussion about who manager of the year should be based on crowds. Well, right now, Anarchy drew their biggest and most excited house with Matt Hankins leading the charge on the heel end. Lots of big stuff in the women's match and in other matches, and featured prominently in a number of segments. Good for Matt Hankins. Yeah. Victory Championship, which somebody had sent me footage of another one of their shows in order to shame them. The Victory Championship, look at this shit, blah, blah, blah. It's Chick Donovan, that horse shit. I was less interested in that, in the fact that I thought that Victory Championship was a better produced YouTube wrestling show than most of the people out there. And that caught my eye very prominently. They're saying 80. I don't know that. I can't say that. I wish they would send a picture to show that. But we'll just say 80 because they said 80. And yeah, good for Victory Championship. I love that they're sending their show reports in. Pro South did their thing. Again, they've gone with the game of not announcing their crowds because it's not about the crowd, but did most prominently on that show. Trevor Aon against Left Hand Path member Zombie Dragon. Of course, guy I like a lot, a guy I respect a lot, a guy who's doing big things in Asia, and he had kind of his like Atlanta tour. I'm sure he felt like a conquering hero. Excellent, good for him. Speaking of conquering heroes, I think it's very notable that Logan Creed, who was in the second match for Anarchy, in basically an unimportant match, got a stars frickin' reception. He's a star. Yeah. There's news regarding Logan Creed and how happy he is about recent turns of events. I will say that I've seen a number of other entities that are doing awards things, and they're mentioning shocking appearances. Now, I'm not taking away from Danny Jordan showing up on NWA, awesome. Showing up on AEW, awesome. But she showed up on those things not as a star, as what you do when you're the wrestler trying to get in. You just basically they're your meat to job. I've been that myself on prominent shows. No shame in it. It is what it is, but it's not the same as being brought in as a mega star, as Logan Creed is in MLW. And that should not be forgotten. There is a distinction and a difference there. Both are great accomplishments, but Logan Creed's is much closer to what you want to be, which is a contract and money and etc., etc., etc. All right. AWE. ACH is their champion, having beaten Chip Day. The crowd, I was waiting for Rob Rod's report, but I didn't want to wait to put out this full disclosure. News and commentary number 39. So I went to the source themselves. What was their crowd? 170. Second biggest crowd in AWE history. And from all accounts, an AWE show. Exciting, prominent, all the rest of it. And by having ACH win their title, it's news. It's not just news amongst Georgia, it's news. It's making the rounds online nationally. And it's got people talking. I thought ACH retired. I thought he wasn't going to wrestle anymore. No, 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 no. Gosh, is that a good thing when they're talking about your promotion in relation to a wrestler of controversy and note? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Uh, news item before we talk about other shows that happened. Uh, please look at this post by Chris Henry. Writing down the time. Look at it. What's it say? Right? That he's not a Georgia wrestler and he doesn't care about the awards and he's, blah, blah, blah. And he's lumping himself in with Aja Pereira and other people. Um, here's the line I don't like, that he did it. He did it himself, right? No, there's the people that trained you, the people that booked you, the people that worked with you, the people that promoted you, the people that provide you a platform on which to wrestle. I don't really blame Chris Henry because he's dumb as a fucking bag of hammers. Proof, Steve. That's a pretty spurious thing to say. Are you bitter because he says he's not a Georgia guy? I'm no longer in Georgia, but do I consider myself part of the Georgia wrestling scene? Yeah. Yeah. And for somebody who has achieved nothing in the wrestling business, like Chris Henry, to go on and fight this semantic thing of like, I don't consider myself a Georgia person, I'm beyond them, and I'm this and I'm that. And nobody's helped me along the way, including the people who trained him, including Robert fucking Gibson, who trained you. By the way, proof that Chris Henry is a fucking moron is he was trained by Robert Gibson, but didn't know who Robert Gibson was. He did not know he was part of the Rock and Roll Express, which wouldn't have mattered even if he did, because he didn't know what the Rock and Roll Express was. What the fuck? Chris Henry, before you go flexing that you're this fucking, I cannot be reined in by a label and the awards, I'm beyond them, that's why I don't win them. No, it's because you don't do shit. You ain't shit. And you can attach yourself to other people with bigger names than you and try to get the rub off of them. It's one thing if Aja Pereira had said that, right? She does wrestle more out of state than she does in state. But I don't recall her being too upset whenever called upon or whenever she was going to win a Georgia Wrestling Award. I never recalled that. I thought that she was one of the people who stepped up to the plate when the podcast associated with Georgia wrestling history asked for 2-minute speeches, and she killed it. So, Chris Henry, I get it. Everybody wants to flex and seem bigger than they are. But if you're the kind of fucking moron that can't even give credit to the people that have worked with you, helped train you, when you didn't even know who the fuck they were, especially when they were Robert Gibson of the Rock and Roll Express. What Chris Henry doesn't understand is the names that he put at the bottom that he was attaching himself to aren't nearly as impressive as being able to attach yourself to the name of Robert Gibson. But then you would have to show gratitude to who trained you. Then you would have to show knowledge. Or you would have to admit that you don't know shit because you didn't know who the fuck he was. Repent, ye morons, the time is nigh. APW only drew 36. And then Jacob Ashworth as the heel whose winning streak continues and their crowds continue to go. Going down, 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 down. Am I saying the two correlate? Not necessarily, but it is noteworthy that APW, after a pretty decent run. Maybe it's a seasonal thing at this time of the year, though Anarchy doesn't seem to be affected by it. Certainly fucking AWE isn't affected by it, and nobody else is, but APW. 36. It's rough. Hopefully they can make a comeback. Ike Cross, prominent wrestler of note, back wrestling again. That's a great thing. Between him and Kyle Matthews and Gunnar Miller, shit, 2020 is looking pretty fucking strong, folks. And by the way, even without those three guys, it was looking incredibly strong, stronger than it has in a long time. And now you get those three back. Fuck me. Good shit. And for a bit of levity, look at this picture. Coming, Coming. Haves and have-nots. I said at the beginning of the year that that's what 2019 was going to be about. The haves in wrestling and the have-nots. But it's not just about crowds. It's not just about talent. It's not just about fans. It's not just about money made or not made. It's also about intellectual resources. And now you may argue, well, Chris Nelms didn't make this thing. But I'm talking about the numbnut that didn't know how to spell coming. And I would imagine his girlfriend or wife, whoever made this thing, also doesn't know a whole lot about coming either. But you can make up the difference. Rant. I don't have my bell here. Ding! You can make up the difference. Now you can draw a crowd with a shit show. You can do a good job editing and getting in show reports that sound reasoned and smart. You can spell check your fucking promotional material. Wrestling is about faking it until you make it in every way, shape, or form. And in this day and age, with software being what it is, putting out a good looking poster is just a matter of effort and a little bit of vision. But here's the truth that we never say. The leagues of prominence, and I'm going to be talking about them in my commentary about Momentum. Viral, Peach State, Southern Fried Anarchy, Southern Honor, AWE. Right? Those are shows that I would call from the B- to the A+ shows. Are there others that could be there? Possibly. But I'm going to talk about them. Now, when you look at them, those are all groups that have sort of, they don't have the corner of the market of creativity, but they all have a certain amount of pride in what they do. And that pride takes the form of doing the difficult thing, which is editing and making editorial decisions and making sure stuff looks good before you put it out. There are people that occasionally get shit right, even when they're in the middle of getting 100 things wrong. That happens, right? I remember in the middle of the year at some point, Chris Nelms, who has a ton of pictures about himself, mostly that look like complete dog shit, he took one of him walking down this sort of path in the forest, I believe, this road, this dirt road perhaps, and it looked fucking badass, and I just went out of my way to say it. I can call a thing when I see it. But for the most part, I mean, if the whole book on Chris Nelms is he's a fucking thief and he's a fucking liar. And when he's been caught in shit, he's fucking squirmed and weaseled and put together that Titan Clash fucking show in order to um, just hurt Southern Fried. And then it caused a split between him and Southern Violence, which ever since that split happened, Southern Violence, you know what? I'm going to put them in the momentum discussion. They've gotten stronger and stronger and stronger and stronger. And the groups that separated from them got weaker and weaker and weaker and weaker. Right? Though I shouldn't jump the gun. Hey, maybe Billy Bell will put together that fucking mullet march. Best thing that ever happened to Billy Bell was me talking shit. Best thing that ever happened to fucking Stranglehold is me talking shit. How's that momentum going? Right? Making your shit great. Making what you put out there great for people to see. Like a thing got put out recently by Will Caution, and Gunnar Miller, in gimmick, made fun of it and said, poor Logan Creed, you're having to fucking deal with shit like this. And so him and Logan can continue their war of words, which has been very entertaining on Facebook. Very entertaining. But then people kind of came to Will Caution's defense, like, oh, Gunnar Miller talking shit. But did the video look good or did it look like shit? It looked like shit. We can do better. We can put a little more thought into it. We can edit. We can say, that doesn't look good enough. I'm going to put out something that looks better. It doesn't have to be super high tech. Have you seen Hold My Beer Hands and shit? Not exactly cutting edge space age fucking technology, right? It's still great. It still puts over his frickin' gimmick. It still makes it interesting to see him. That's a good first step. You can critique it in other ways, but you can't deny that the Hold My Beer Hansen thing is more effective than the Will Caution thing. But I do like that people are putting out their shit, and failing is all a part of it, right? Kyle Matthews continues to put out these videos, and I told him the first one's going to suck. The first two are going to suck. That's all part of it. But you don't have to keep sucking. You can get better. You should strive to get better. But part of that is not falling in love with what you do. What you create is not your baby. It is not a baby. It is an idea. It is a concept. And just like the Patreon people love the thing that I said about no icons, here's a thing that I learned from a performance thing that wasn't pro wrestling. Nothing is sacred. Meaning, even the Center for Puppetry Arts, where my then wife worked prominently, there's a guy named John Ludwig who's brilliant, and he writes and directs shows and all of that kind of stuff. And he'll cut anything out of his shows. They're not babies. He writes them, he often directs them, etc., etc. He'll cut anything, even if it's a number that they've been working on. If it's a musical number that they've been working on that's very intricate and blah, 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 but he feels like it doesn't work or advance the story, or he makes the whole thing too long, cuts it. And I asked him about that. I'm like, man, isn't that tough to do? And he was just like, nothing's precious. Nothing's sacred. It's about the show. What can you cut away? Continue to put out output. I'm not saying don't do that. You should. Put out the fucking promos, guys. Put out the flyers. Put out the pictures of yourself. But if something sucks, cut it. Nothing's precious. Nothing's sacred. And it's about the show. It's about you. Commentary time. Who's got the momentum? If you look at groups that were working together or attempting to work together that separated in 2019, who's got the momentum and who does not? You tell me, who's got the momentum, IWE or Bushido? You got to pick one. It shouldn't be hard to pick. IWE's got the momentum. Bushido does not. Bushido is on boop, boop, IWE continues to make slow, steady advances. Southern Violence or Georgia World Class Championship, whatever the fuck. One of them has to lie about their crowds, Georgia World Class, and the other does not. One of them has people of prominence go to their show and write reports on it. And now they're knocking on the door of 200 people. The other one lies to say that they have 175 when they really have less than 60. Georgia World Class. Bloop, 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 bloop. Momentum. Southern Violence has it. Georgia World Class Wrestling doesn't. Billy Bell. See you at the March. Southern Honor. Now, some would say, well, they had their 1,000th show in the middle of the year, and ever since then, creatively, booking-wise, they have all the momentum. They've got 3 or 4 or 5 great angles going into the new year that I can name off the top of my head. Do you want to see Danny Jordan and Brooklyn Creed? Yes. Do you want to see Joe Black and William Huckabee blow off and then where it goes from there? Yes. What's Gunnar Miller going to do next? I don't know, but it's awesome. Against Sean Legacy, who Viral and others are touting as this great thing, and now he's going up against Gunnar Miller, and it's at Southern Honor. And you got Corey Hollis wreaking havoc. You got Logan Creed still there. You've got the tag team champion thing that's going to be crowned soon. You got Ashton Starr. You got Logan Chase. Holy crap. This is me. I just keep talking. And it's all great. AC Mac. That's momentum. And their crowds have maintained. They've held them at 400. Pretty fucking great. And they have a number of now set, tried and true shows that we know are going to be big next year. We know they're going to do the Rumble Jack, which was a financial fucking success and a boon, right? We know they're going to do their big anniversary show. And their January show, fuck, that might be the best show that they've ever done. Think about that. And are they going to rack up in the awards? Let me look at my magic 8-ball here. Signs point to fuck yes, they are. They're going to rack up. How much? We're going to have to wait and see, but they're going to rack up. This is their year. And they're shooting for next year being even more their year. Momentum. Southern Fried. How's their momentum? They averted disaster, so potentially it was much worse. And they are appearing to be on a bit of an upswing, and certainly the tournament worked out very well in their favor. But when I say the word momentum, as Drew Blood pointed out, they went from crowds of averaging 400 to crowds about 200. It's hard to argue momentum when your crowd is half of what it once was. But as far as the booking part of it, it appears that they have things moving in the right direction. In the same vein, Peach State appears to have things moving in the right direction, right? But who would you say has more momentum? Is it Peach State or is it Pro Wrestling Circuit? I kind of put them in the same category. You'd say Pro Wrestling Circuit, but Peach State's still around, and they're still in the B- plus category. But I would give Pro Wrestling Circuit a higher grade. And it's great that they have so many sponsors. But can they come up with something that feels like steak along with the sizzle? Because right now it still feels like a lot of sizzle, does it not? But they can right the ship very easily and gain even more momentum. WrestleMerica certainly appears to be a group moving in the right direction. Momentum. Yeah. viral. They've gained momentum as far as prominence on the scene. They had their bigger show not at the end of the year, but nonetheless, they appear to be pushing forward, and next year they're going to make more inroads on the scene. Their production is stepping up. Their booker and their promoter are working in lockstep. They are amongst the top duos and pairs in wrestling in Georgia, right? That's important shit, yeah? Dylan and Gary, right? Manders and Todd, yeah? Rick and whoever happens to be booking at the time. At one point it was Bill Barron's. Let's talk about Anarchy and that fucking incredible momentum. They were a B-list show in danger of becoming a C or a D-list show. That's what I said. And it got worse before it got better, but it got better. And I told them at one point a month or two ago, welcome to B+. Well, I'll say this. Welcome to A-, maybe A. And congratulations to Anarchy. I would say, of all the groups that I've talked about, they have the second most amount of momentum going into the new year at this point. Now, everything isn't momentum. Not everything isn't momentum. Don't get me wrong, right? If you've been consistently a great performer throughout the year, you shouldn't be punished for that because your bar was already super high. Anarchy was fucking so low, there was nowhere to go but up they went. And they're clearly going into 2020 with the second most amount of momentum of any group. And they should be lauded for it. That's wonderful. And it's great news, and it's great for the scene, and it's important. Number one is AWE, Atlanta Wrestling Entertainment. They were in the fucking toilet, folks. Combat Entertainment drew 20 fucking 5. They're getting kicked out of every venue imaginable. Creatively, things just felt stagnant and distant. And they were just shouting at the rain, which they still do too much, in my opinion. However, it's now coming from a place of confidence and momentum, and they're getting that fuck the world fucking spirit back instead of just being whining, it's not fair, it's not fair. Now it's like, fuck you, we're coming for you. Second biggest crowd they've ever had. Surprising and shocking. The attention of things nationally in wrestling for a league that everybody was ready to put a toe tag on. And now they're ready to put a toe tag on everybody else. Murder went from a joke in this fucking bullshit feud with Gary Lamb, but he got to be part of one of the 2 pictures of the year. And they rose back to prominence. And now people are singing their praises again, and the boys are going out of their way to do that show again. I told you, that's how you know the strength of a promotion. Where do the boys want to work? And now they're singing the praises of AWE again. And AWE is making dreams happen for the boys again, as they once did. Right? When Sugar Dunkerton, and if he wrestles as something else, my apologies, but I'm old and I remember shit from when I booked them. But Sugar Dunkerton has a match that helps his career. This is the first match he's had that's truly helped his career in a big, huge way, right? Where his opponent is putting him over on his fucking Twitter followers. God knows how many fucking Twitter followers that fucker has. It's a lot. And Suge Knight, fucking sorry. Sugar Dunkerton fucking held his own. Very proud, and they're gonna have fucking rematch. Great shit. AWE is the #1 group that has the most momentum going into the new year. It's fucking exciting shit, folks. The difference between the beginning of the year, the middle of the year, and the end of the year for almost everybody has completely flip-flopped, right? I'll just make it this simple. Wrestle America. Pro wrestling circuit. Pretty good, right? IWE. Bushido. Southern Violence. Georgia World Class. Southern Honor. Anarchy. Southern Fried. Peach State. Viral. AWA. What momentum are you going to create? What momentum are you going to generate for yourself? What momentum are you going to use to carry you throughout the year? And how can you create enough kinetic energy that it starts building upon itself to the point where you, to paraphrase my good friend Matt Hankins, are undeniable? Undeniable. How are you going to take the momentum that you've already generated? Not the momentum that you're pretending that you generate, Chris Henry, but the real momentum that you've generated. Or if you haven't generated enough yet, how are you going to do that? And then once you get that ball rolling, how are you going to keep it rolling? Faster and faster and faster and faster. So your trajectory in 2020 looks like this instead of this. What are you going to do about it? How are you going to make it happen? Because we've had a number of amazing stories this year amongst promotions and wrestlers themselves, but not enough, in my opinion. We need more. So go fucking get it. 2020, the year of the rat. If that doesn't get you excited, I don't know what will. Anyway, full disclosures, had a great first year. Still putting together that best of. I'm going to definitely put out at least one more video this year, and then I'm going to have a New Year's Day video. I have a tradition on New Year's that's been passed down from my family, mostly on my mother's side, which is you do the things on New Year's Day that you want to do all year long. So I'm going to put out a video. I'm going to work out very hard. I'm going to eat right. I'm going to have a great time with my kids, and I'm going to work, and I'm going to work, and I'm going to work. And I'm going to make that motherfucking money. And believe what was Georgia wrestling history's motherfucking momentum? What was Georgia motherfucking wrestling podcast and writers fucking momentum of the year? And we're all the better for it. We contribute. Now it's your time to contribute as well. This has been Full Disclosure. The doctor is in, bitches.